but changed it all up a bit, because that's what you get when it's a remake. You get a similar format, but a bit of a retelling.
Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
You don't scare me, Celine.
Well, we're going to have to work on that.
Hello there YouTube, and welcome back to Vampire Weekend Day 2, and I'm giving you 2 helpings this time as I do an original versus remake review. And this one time is on Fright Night. And of course there is the 1985 original and the 2011 remake. So first I thought let's start with the original from 1985. So here we go. Fright Night 1985, written and directed by Tom Holland. No, not Spider-Man Tom Holland. I'm on about, the guy who gave us Child's Play Tom Holland and many other horrors in that. So written and directed by him, starring Chris Sarandon, Will Ragsdale, Amanda Bears or something, Stephen Jeffries, and Roddy McDowall. Yes, Planet of the Apes Roddy McDowall. So this is a 1985 teen comedy horror about a young kid named Charlie Brewster who basically has everything a geek could dream of, a hot girlfriend. He moves into a new house with his mum. Well, no, hang on. No, he doesn't move into a new house with his mum. A new neighbour moves in next door, and that is a vampire. Well, at first he doesn't suspect anything, but once his friend, Charlie's friend, makes some documents and research onto this vampire, Jerry. Yeah, that's right, a vampire named Jerry. That's crazy, isn't it? He gets suspicious and then knows for sure that Jerry is a vampire once his friend goes missing. And of course, in that he then turns to Peter Vincent, a TV horror host who does stories on vampires on a show he does called Fright Night. And well, at first Peter Vincent isn't convinced until he discovers Jerry is a vampire eventually and that. Anyway, yeah, I know, if you've seen this film, you know it's a classic, you know where it goes and that. So I'm just going to get onto my likes and dislikes about this film. So first of all, the likes. I like the story in this. I liked our lead actors in this, especially Roddy McDowall. I only ever knew him as Cornelius and Caesar in the Planet of the Apes franchise. And yeah, I liked him in this. He played a great Van Helsing-like character to this, even though he was just an actor in this, playing a character called Peter Vincent. And he looked old and wise. And I liked it as well, how, well, I'll get to the remaking very shortly. Yeah, I thought this was a fun film. It had a killer soundtrack, and I do love the soundtrack. In fact, I downloaded the whole soundtrack and put it onto my iPod. I loved it that much. It has, techno music, it just has that classic 80s feel to it, and that's what I love about 80s horror. I just love the soundtracks they had in it. For me, the 80s is when horror grew up. We had horror in other periods and that, like the 30s, 40s, 50s and all that. But for me, I feel the 80s for me is when horror really grew up, because it just seemed to up the ante and everything, and that. I also like Jerry in this, in his vampiric form. Yeah, he may look human, but he also looked like, when in his vampire form, just like a fierce blood-sucking demon. Because, he wasn't the romantic kind like Dracula. He was like the shark from Jaws. He was just badass, and he knew it. He was like, I like the whole dance scene in that. There's like a scene in the film where he's got Charlie's girlfriend Katie in a hypnotic trance, and they're in like this nightclub, he's got her in a hypnotic trance dancing with her and that. I like that scene too, and stuff. I like the big finale as well, when Jerry goes, "Welcome to Fright Night, for real," which was in the intro to this video. I just thought, if I'm going to do Fright Night, I thought I got to start the intro with that. That classic intro he does to the finale of Fright Night. I also enjoyed the character of Charlie Brewster in this. He was a nerd, and he was trying to grow up and mature, and mocked his friend at first, but once the shit hit the fan, he was like, oh shit, this is a real vampire, and that. Yeah, I thought this was an enjoyable 80s film. It is an 80s classic. I feel like for vampire lovers, in 1985 gave them Fright Night, and for werewolf lovers, they gave us Teen Wolf. So yes, Fright Night the original. Let's get on to my. Is there anything more I want to say on this before I get to my final thoughts and ratings? No. So yeah, I enjoyed the cinematography in this. That 80s cinematography, and I like it when they do it in modern films. Give it that 80s cinematography feel. I thought Tom Holland did a great job in this film, writing and directing it. I also loved all the acting in this and stuff. Dislikes. You know what? I can't really think of any dislikes, because I do enjoy this film a lot, and it's hard to think of a thing to not like about this film. When you enjoy it so much. So yeah, it's hard to think of a dislike for this. So you know what? I'm just going to cut straight to the ratings. I'm going to give Fright Night, the 1985 original, 4 steaks out of 5. So now, as this is an original versus remake review, we are going to now go to the 2011 Fright Night remake. So, let's go. So, where were we? Ah, yes, Fright Night 2011. So, Fright Night, the 2011 remake now. And this one was directed by Craig Gillespie or something. Starring the late Anton Yelchin, Colin Farrell, Christopher Mintz, Pleaser, Min's Pleasure, you know, the McLovin from Superbad, former Doctor Who David Tennant, Imogen Poots, and Toni Collette. So this is a 2011 remake, pretty much, you know, like the original. Charlie Brewster, a nerd, he has a hot girlfriend. Weird neighbour moves in called Jerry, who is a vampire. His nerdy friend tries to tell him so. He mocks him, all that yada yada stuff. So basically, the format is very similar, but they do make some changes to it because it is a remake after all and retell some things. And we will get to that now in the likes. So first of all, I like that this was a modern, updated version, and I also liked, you know, Colin Farrell in this as Jerry. I mean, he was a vampire. He was the vampire Jerry. Didn't have any human slave in it this time, as I forgot to mention in the original. Jerry has a human slave, or whatever. In this one, you know, Colin Farrell is the vampire Jerry, and he makes a creepy, sort of good-looking villain in this, with his sly smirkiness and his, you know, he's just his vicious vampiric look and everything. Yeah, I enjoyed him in this. I also liked how they completely reinvented the character of Peter Vincent. In the original, he was played by Roddy McDowall, and he was like a TV show host, or you know, telling stories of vampires on Fright Night. This time, they completely redid it and set it all in Vegas. It was a vampire show he was doing called Fright Night, where he was like a vampire hunter, all that. And yeah, I just liked how they completely changed him up in this. Not only that, but this was like a year after, you know, David Tennant finished Doctor Who. So to me, he was still the Doctor, and he had that 10th Doctor charm. He was definitely using his 10th Doctor voice. But in this, he was like a bit of a dick in this. A bit of a jerk, and was just, yeah, like going to his wife, fuck you, and all that. Yeah, he was just, I liked his version of Peter Vincent. I like Roddy McDowall. He was like a calm, wise gentleman. But in this David Tennant's take on the character, he was like, well, like I just said, a bit of a slime bag. And that. So, what else can I tell you about this one? I also loved how, you know, they still stayed true to the original, but changed it all up a bit, because that's what you get when it's a remake. You get a similar format, but a bit of a retelling of some of the story in it. Especially on the character of Peter Vincent, how they completely revamped him. No pun intended there. I also liked Anton Yelchin in this. Of course, back then I just knew him as Mr. Chekhov from Star Trek, because that's the first proper film I think I saw him in. And yeah, I just thought he was a good fit for it. I like how they kept the nerdy persona of Charlie Brewster, but with the hot girlfriend. And that. And also, with it being a remake and it being the 21st century, you can't do it without any digital effects, so yeah, it was all digitalised by then. Colin Farrell's transformation into his vampiric form was all computed. I also like the supporting cast in this, one including Dave Franco. Yeah, he was in this too as a nerd, as like, well, I don't know, he was just in it, and he was a vampire. I'm sure I'm not giving anything away. This remake is 7 years old after all. Yeah. A lot of people, some of my friends say that this remake is better because David Tennant's in it and they're all Doctor Who fans like myself. But me, I'm going to have to disagree. I did like this one. I did think it was a good remake. But I think I like the original a tad more. But, yeah. My dislikes... Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention. Toni Collette in this as Charlie's mother. Yeah, she was good in this. Can I... It's red hot in here. She was good in this as Charlie's mum. I liked her character in this. Always did a good American voice, because she's an Australian actress in real life. And that. My dislikes, however... Yeah, there were a few errors I had with this film, but nothing to completely put me off this film. Actually, I just enjoyed this remake. It was a really good, nicely done one. And yeah, was it a necessary remake? Probably, because I never got introduced to the franchise until I saw this one. But yeah, I just like this one. It was a good remake, so final thoughts and ratings. I thought I liked this one. I like the cast they had for this one too. It was, the cinematography was all digital and that, all millennial and stuff. But yeah, so with all that being said, I think I'm going to give the Fright Night remake, I think I'll give this 4 steaks out of 5. So yeah, when it comes to Fright Night, the original versus the remake, I'd say it's a draw. Yes, that's what I'm going to call it, a draw, as I gave them both 4 steaks out of 5. So yeah, that has been Vampire Weekend Day 2. So have you seen any of them, the original or the remake? Let me know down in the comments below, or have you seen both? If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links, my Facebook group, The Random Horror Madhouse, my Twitter, Instagram, all of it is linked down below in the description, so be sure to check all that out. And of course, you know what's coming next. Until next time, don't have nightmares.